This video will identify an ethical engineering procedure to perform new joint-use installations that comply with NESC and state registration requirements. The NESC and several regulations encourage joint-use installations, which requires cooperation between the rural electric cooperative and telecom company. Joint-use installations increase the transverse wind load and increase loaded design tensions on the cooperative power poles. Because of this, calculations need to be performed to determine NESC compliance. In most cases, an ethical joint-use design and installation requires a four-step procedure. The first step requires the telecom company to make a formal joint-use request by obtaining the pole numbers or accurate drawing of the proposed joint-use attachments. The telecom company must identify GUI scheme installations at all bisector and deadened structures. This entails identifying if the telecom company will install their own anchors, attached to cooperative-owned anchors, or will not install an anchor. The telecom company then needs to include the telecom cable specification sheet, along with the sag and tension chart based on the true ruling span for each telecom line section. A joint-use agreement will need to be completed, if required by the cooperative, then all this information needs to be submitted to the cooperative. In the second step, the cooperative needs to perform the joint-use design and determine any make-ready cost to accommodate the new joint-use attachments. To do this, the cooperative needs to obtain the as-built of the proposed joint-use attachment locations and develop an engineering design document to determine if there are any existing NESC violations. If NESC violations exist, the designer will need to make necessary corrections, then generate a revised engineering design document. The designer will then determine the initial joint-use attachment locations based on the vertical distance from the critical electric objects. The next step is to input the required telecom sag and tension information and generate an updated engineering design document. The designer then has to determine cost to correct any NESC violation, then submit the engineering design document to the cooperative professional engineer for final review and approval. The final approved engineering design document and any make-ready costs to correct NESC violations are then submitted to the telecom company. In step 3, the telecom company decides to either make a payment for the make-ready work or reject the project. In step 4, the cooperative will make a field trip to determine if the joint-use attachments were installed as designed, or make necessary adjustments to the engineering design document to determine if the revised attachment locations comply with NESC requirements. A change order will need to be developed and submitted to the telecom company if the revised attachment locations resulted in NESC violations.